Hey, how's it? I'm back. I am on a rampage. I know I've had a couple of comments saying, dude, slow down, you're going to burn out. I am enjoying this process. It's almost been a month since I did my very first one with Tools Sober. Didn't expect anybody to see it. Now this is happening and I'm having a great time. I'm also learning from you guys, and that to me is probably the most important part of what social media is about. Good, bad, or indifferent. Some of the comments are a little shade. Some of them are just flat out troll, but not a lot, thank you. Nonetheless, but I'm learning a lot from you guys because you respond to the comments and then you tell me these great little stories. Also, a quick side note. If you are going to suggest something to me, would you do me a favor and drop the YouTube link in there so I can just click on it and check it out? And I also want to try to keep the reactions as pure as a reaction than something that I might pre-watch or something, but I might change that as I move forward with this channel. Okay, so today, Unlucky Morpheus, Japanese metal band. The song is Black Pentagram. Just a really quick heads up, if any advertisement pops up, if the publishers do a copyright claim, they can run advertising. It's not me. Just wanted to let you know that. And I also do not typically read lyrics. I treat the lead singer as an instrument when I'm doing just these kind of breakdowns. And, well, especially, I think this one, it doesn't matter if I have lyrics. So let's do this stuff. Really quick, AKG 240s. I still get a lot of comments about this. What am I wearing? Very durable studio headsets. Been around forever. It's been in the professional world of studios forever. This is my go-to. And I'll have a link for that down there, as well as a link for this song down there. And also a link for their CDs or vinyl and stuff will be down in descriptions as well. Okay, here we go. All right. All right. Wow. This is really super cool. I know that, you know, metal as a genre and the sub-genres of metal has penetrated many different cultures as I'm, you know, here on YouTube and looking around, you know, looking up keywords, Korean metal, you know, from different cultures. You look at metal. How do people take the basis of metal and then reprocess it through their culture and infuse it? You know, I'm finding that there are many other types of metal out there because of that. In this case, this is kind of reminiscent of a neoclassical-esque kind of production, very crispy production, very detail-oriented. At the very beginning, when the musicians came in on their first riff, I could have swore it sounded like there was a really long growl in the background as a pad, you know, as I'm trying to, you know, focus in on it. Musicianship, just thus far, super tight. In my opinion, in this kind of, and if I'm misnaming the genre as neoclassical, I'm sure that I await your comments. But when you play this style of music, this kind of metal, you have to be at a certain level with your musicianship. You cannot, you know, cut any corners. And even if you do cut corners in production and you punch a bunch of stuff in, when it's time to play, if you're not authentic, you're going to get your ass handed to you. So I love the riffs that they've already opened up with. Just in case, I like to think that I appeal more to the listener, the purist listener, the one that's not the musician, though I do have people say I can go a little more into theory and stuff. But in the case of the listener here, a riff is a pattern that's set up by an instrument or something as a basis with the arrangement. Led Zeppelin in the Ocean is a riff. A Smoke on the Water, a riff, you know, whether it's a chord or a melody. So the riffs that they were set up here are very active and very energetic, as it should be for this kind of metal. Something else I want to point out really quick, the violin. Now, I heard it, and then I had to open my eye and look at the video, and I saw, you know, a violin. It's usually extremely difficult to pull that off, and thus far, killing it. Placing it in the mix and the arrangement, the violin, a lot like an oboe, is like a Ginsu knife in an orchestra when it's placed correctly. And so it's cutting through, I can hear the arrangements, it's in unison with a lot of things. And then finally the vocalist, she's absolutely amazing. I do hear and feel the cultural influence of the vibrato, you know. And if you don't know what the vibrato is, that's that kind of da. Sometimes it could be very slight, and sometimes it could be a half step, a whole step. It depends on, you know, like some old Deep Purple. What's his name? Sorry, brain fart. No disrespect. From Deep Purple had a kind of wide range vibrato. Her vibrato is phenomenal, but I also recognize that vibrato from other cultural Japanese music that I've either worked with or listened to, and it complements us beautifully. So let's go ahead and move forward, and then I'll talk a little bit about the engineering. So let's go back a little bit. And here we go. Oh, there she is. All right, so let's step back a little bit. Apparently 2 guitars. The power of 2 guitars in a band like this is absolute, in the sense that the engineers and the people who are, whether it's a live show or in a studio, have the choices of, you know, how they're going to pan this out, how they're going to split this out. And this brings me into this engineering section that I want to bring up here. First, they were in unison, and then in the second 8, or second 4, I wasn't really counting, the second half of the verse phrasing, the harmony. So the main riff was in my left ear, and then they harmonized it in unison, but it was a harmony. Could have been a fifth. I think it's not like a fifth. And in neoclassical, that fifth is very important. The engineering of this, if you listen to this, you know, in a set of cans and stuff, got to leave that pocket wide open in the middle, you know, and that's where you place the vocalist, you know. She has a very high, powerful voice, so all the bottoms of the bass and the kick and the drums and stuff has got a very comfortable pocket here in the tones, you know, from 0 to, let's say, 20K. It's got a really nice pocket in the lows and the mids and stuff, and then she's just right up there, just crushing it in the tone. She's owning the space with her tone. So right on for the engineering. So what else was I going to say? Oh, God, I'm brain farting. God, the older I get, the better I was. My favorite saying. It'll come back to me. Okay, go back a little bit. Here we go. Oh, I know what else I wanted to say. I loved the choices of the chords that they're using in the key that they're in. They're being very liberal about really moving around, you know, their scale that they are. They're not just, you know, hanging out in one little area. They're really using the chords within the scale really well. So that one little section goes dun, 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 dun. Very theatrical, very powerful moves, very wonderful, like, impact moments in the song. And it's very hooky. The term hooky, or hook, the hook, could be many things. It could be a chorus. Typically, that's what we're used to saying, the hook. But a lot of times there are musical hooks or sub-musical hooks in a song that you refer back to that may not be the chorus or the hook of a song. That got a little wordy, but you know, if you're still here with me, I'll clear that up one day. All right, so I know I skipped back. Let's go forward and see what we got. Okay, I'm pretty, well, first of all, I feel whiffs of Yngwie and that whole neoclassical influence in that solo there. I await your comments. But at the very beginning of that solo, it sounded like it was doubled with a harp, a harpsichord, which, if it is, it reinforces the neoclassical vibe. Not easy to play. All of you guys who are guitarists, you know, just the kind of practice it takes and stuff, especially if you're focusing on neoclassical rock. A lot of that Yngwie and all of those super guitar players that specialized in that, a lot of them have that classical background, you know. But I did hear what seemed to have been like a harpsichord, actually slightly behind it, which is fine. That's, you know, that means perhaps the harpsichord solo was there first and then they doubled it, or vice versa. He learned the parts, whatever, nothing wrong with that. Don't know how it happened. I leave the doors wide open for comments on that, for your opinions. Another thing that I noticed is that, you know, because I'm watching a visual, so I'm hearing it and then I can open my eyes and cut away and the violinist is following in unison a melody. It sounds more richer, sorry, bad grammar, but more richer than a single violin. So it sounds like she's doing her line, okay, and that it could be in unison with a, you know, another overdub, a backing track of maybe some kind of a hybrid string pad, kind of, you know, maybe in some kind of I don't know, hybrid string pad. Anyhow, the drummer absolutely killing it. You know, you get to a level where it's like you get bands this good and stuff like that, and you try to describe and how wonderful the musicians are. I have deep respect for all the musicians, but after a while, it's like trying to fold fitted sheets when you try to explain it. So every now and then, I just want to go, just throw it in the bed, if you know what I mean. So let's move forward. Let's see what we got here. I'll go back a little bit, and maybe I'll finish this up from this point out. Let's see what we got. Okay, before the song ends, I want to go back really quick to when the guitar players were playing, and they did it in unison. They did some harmony solo work. Something else that I just wanted to bring up as a guitar player, and I'm not that good, but I can get away with some murder. There's a technique that is used, you know, when you do direct picking. Or if you're doing, geez, I can't think of the word. I might have to edit just so that my brain catches up to my mouth. Legato. frying. You know, when guitar players play solos, I don't know why I made that face, but when you play solos, you have many different picking techniques that you can use. You know, there's direct, you know, spizzicato, staccato style, you know, you're firing. And then there's hybrid, and then there's, you know, a mixed of alternative picking and all kinds of stuff. And then also you have techniques on the left hand. You see the tapping and stuff. Once again, this explanation is for those who don't play guitar, but the legato method is like when a saxophone player does a run, and you can tell he's killing it, but each note doesn't have its own particular, you know, velocity, its own pick. It's you know, sometimes you'll watch guitar players, they'll do these great runs, but their right hand is just maybe just hitting one note, and the rest of the fingers is doing that, and that's the legato. And there was some beautiful legato work in that guitar playing. So I did want to say that. Sorry about that brain fart. Jeez, I don't know. Here we go. I'm going to finish this up. Oh, wow. Crazy. Excuse me. There was growling I heard there, so there was an overdub of growling there in between a certain part of the hook. I thought that was a really wonderful production touch to it. This was a very grand, I would say, metal opera, neoclassical kind of piece. The visuals, obviously, because I couldn't find just the audio, the visuals definitely lent itself to the theatrics of the power of this music and what they're relaying. I don't know what the message is, obviously, because I don't understand Japanese. Great musicianship. The engineering I've already talked about. I think I touched on every point I wanted to. And I'm really, really excited. What I'm excited about when I hear this is like, you know, genres of metal and rock and stuff ebb and flow. And this type of rock has not necessarily disappeared per se. There'll always be that. But, you know, metalcore, prog rock and stuff moving forward, it doesn't get as much production. There aren't many startups as I see so far that are working on this. So when I hear this morphing itself out around the world and being picked up and used, you know, by other countries, cultures, and stuff like that, there's always that, you know, it's still, that ball is still rolling, and it's going this way instead of just being contained in our bubble of listening and what we're used to going, hey, what happened to this, or, you know, blah blah blah. Anyhow, super long-winded as per usual. If you're still here, thank you very much. Thank you for all the comments that are coming, good, bad, criticizing, even constructive criticism. I do roll and read through as many comments as possible. Once again, the link for this is down there. The link for this song is down there. There'll be a link for some of their vinyl or whatever it is that they're selling is down there as well. So thanks for hanging out. Thanks for suggesting this to me. All right. Aloha.